The woman had been stranded at sea for 3 days and nights. Just as she was on the brink of despair, she spotted a deserted island. Summoning the last of her strength, she paddled furiously, forgetting she hadn't had a drop of water in days. Then, a shadow passed beneath her. She turned just in time to see a massive tailfin slice through the water. A second later, her inflatable raft lurched violently as something rammed it from below. A great white shark weighing several tons surfaced and clamped its jaws around the raft. The rubber deflated rapidly. Panicked, the woman grabbed the paddle and rowed with all her might. The sea was eerily calm. No wind to aid her. She had only her own fading stamina to rely on. Gritting her teeth, she pushed harder than she ever had in her life. The island grew closer, until a sudden jolt sent her tumbling. The raft was nearly flat now, barely buoyant. One wrong move and she'd be shark food. Terrified, she flailed toward shore. Just as her fingers brushed sand, she froze. A sign loomed ahead. No trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted. Behind her, three great whites circled. With no time to think, she jabbed her paddle at the nearest shark, then leaped into the water. The beasts lunged and missed. She swam desperately for a wooden dock jutting from the island. The sharks gave chase, but she hauled herself onto the planks just as jaws snapped shut beneath her feet. Safe for now, she examined her bleeding palm, cut on rusty wire. Tetanus was a death sentence here. She rummaged through a supply crate, finding bandages, food, and a radio. Static answered her SOS, but there was a flare gun. She fired it skyward, screaming with relief help would come. Then she saw her, another survivor, a woman, clinging to debris. She dragged her onto the dock. Stunned, she'd evaded the sharks. The radio crackled. "We saw your flare. Hold on." But when rescuers arrived, the sharks attacked. Their boat capsized. Blood filled the water. No more help was coming. The two survivors realized, kill the sharks or die. Luring one beneath a cliff, they dropped a boulder, crushing its skull, but the water reeked of blood, enraging the remaining two. Out of rocks, they improvised. One distracted the sharks with bloody rags while the other dove for a harpoon gun. A shark turned back too soon. Swim! The diver's friend jumped in as bait, stabbing wildly. The shark tore into her leg. They barely escaped back onto the dock. Tourniquets failed. The friend bled out in minutes. Now alone, the survivor's grief turned to rage. She rigged the harpoon with a rope, tied it to the dock, and dangled her legs. Bait! The shark took it. She fired, spearing its mouth. Then she dumped gasoline onto the water and lit it with the last flare. The sea erupted. The shark writhed in flames, but the last one wasn't done. It snatched her friend's corpse and vanished. The rescue boat still floated nearby. She swam for it, the final shark in pursuit. At the last second, she spotted oxygen tanks. Taping a knife to one, she waited. As the shark leaped, she smashed the valve. The tank rocketed like a torpedo, punching straight through the beast's head. Silence. The woman laughed, tears mixing with seawater. The nightmare was over. She'd survived.